In IAM, it's important to cover password policies as well. So password policies are important to establish guidelines for using passwords for users and for systems. So here you will hear about password complexity. What is this? Your password needs to be complex. So a mixture of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. This is where we talk about password complexity. How complex is your password? How hard it is to crack? The more you have these, the more complex it is. Password length, minimum character length for a password. If you see that, it means that the password has to be minimum number of characters. Password expiration. This is like how long can you use your password and keep your password before you change it. So you usually get notifications to change your passwords, to update your passwords after 3 months, after 6 months, because it can be cracked in that time, within that time. Password history or password age. This is to prohibit the reuse of previous passwords. If you had used the password before, it's prohibiting the reuse of that password. And passwordless. These are authentication methods that do not require passwords, like biometrics or like confirmation with an email. You enter your email and they ask you to enter the code sent to your email. That's passwordless authentication. But this can be tiring because you always have to go back and forth to your email or to your phone number. Now, privileged access management, PAM. This is a set of security controls used to manage access to privileged accounts. Because in organizations, you have regular user accounts, but you have privileged accounts. What is the account that creates users, that installs software, that installs operating systems and more? Those are privileged accounts, and you don't want anyone to have access to those. These accounts have higher privileges like administrator accounts and more. And they have to be very much protected because they can perform sensitive tasks. They can install important software or access sensitive data. Social security numbers, credit card numbers, operating systems, and more. So you want to keep them protected. What is the principle of least privilege? This is a concept that restricts access rights for users to use the minimum level necessary to perform their job functions. So they're only given minimum levels necessary to perform their job functions, not more. Here you have only the permissions needed to perform your functions, and that's it. So if you're an intern, if you're a contractor, they're giving you accounts access for contractor, minimum level of access required, only access to one computer to do your job, to specific type of software, and limited resources. You will not have access to the entire platform, but you have minimum level of access required to perform your job functions, not more. So what are some best practices to protect privileged accounts? First, implement principle of least privilege. Limit privileges to the minimum required for users. If a user is an intern, give him those privileges. If he's a regular analyst, give him those privileges. As a manager, he will have more, and that's how it operates. Maintain a clear separation between regular accounts and privileged accounts. It has to be distinct, it has to be clear. Use strong authentication, MFA, and multiple security operations. Periodically review privileged access. It's very important to make sure that if a user has access to a privileged account, it doesn't mean that in 6 months or in 1 year, they should still have access. Constantly review their access and also revoke access in case something happens. If a user changes role, if they leave the organization, if a new user takes place, revoke privileges. Implement anomaly detection. So if an unusual behavior happens on privileged accounts, it's important to implement anomaly detection to detect any anomalous events on privileged accounts.
All right, guys, was that interesting? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trust me, you will not regret it. Also follow us on our various social media platforms, including Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and more, to be the first to know about the awesome contents that we're prepping for you guys. Thank you for your attention. Hope to see you on the other side.